Hare Krishna and welcome to this video on the Bhagavad-gita chapter 1 verse 1. This is part 2, video number 2 on the editing of the English translation of verse 1 in the Gita. And we have already, in the previous part, we've already managed to complete phrase clause 4 here. Down there. We'll actually fill that in again here. So we mysteriously this was lost in between the takes here. So all right, so we'll zoom in and as usual to see a little better. So we left off at yuyutsavah here. So we, as we saw before here, we had two participles, or well, one is a real participle, samavetah, and then we have this desiderative adjective, which sounded like almost like a participle also. So being assembled and desiring to fight, they are sort of stacked here on top of each other. And in those two words, we find nominative plural, masculine nominative plural. So even though they don't look the same at the end, because this up here is like a straight participle, and this one is a desiderative adjective, which has an ending in su. So the stem of the desiderative adjective is yuyutsavah. So it's declined differently than this one. But both are masculine nominative plural, and both, and this is the important part here, that both refer to the same group of people, we can say. So both are plural, so it's they being assembled, they desiring to fight. Although we haven't written they out here, but there's an implicit pointer to they, and both are using the same they. They're sharing the whoever they are. So now what we're doing when we go to phrase, or like phrase 5 here, is that we're specifying who they are. And it's important also to note that if you haven't watched the previous videos where we are rearranging and like that, we noted that this is a noun phrase, and so it's just specifying the noun or the group of people whom these other desiderative adjective and the proper participle are referring to. All right, so now we come to this phrase here, and one thing we're seeing here is that we have an adjective and a proper noun. And normally when we discover adjectives and proper nouns in sentences, in Sanskrit sentences, it's very common that adjectives are placed to the very left of the noun that they modify. So it's very common to see that an adjective qualifies the noun to which it is standing closest to. So mamakah could have been a qualifying adjective of pandavah. So my ones and the pandavas they could be referring to the same thing. It could be my ones, the pandavas, right? So the pandavas, mine, or something like that. So, but it isn't like that in this actual verse, and there are several indications of that, and one of which is that here comes an cha, and so this indicates that these are two different, that the subject adjective and the subject noun are should be understood as different. They're referring to two different entities. So the noun phrase specifies, yes, and the other reason also, of course, is a historical one, that mamakah is a word that is spoken in this verse by dhritarastrah, and he is not the father of the Pandavas. The Pandavas are the sons of Pandu. So it wouldn't make sense for Dhritarashtra to speak of the Pandavas as his sons, because Dhritarashtra has his own sons, including Duryodhana, right? So it from several points of view we have that this is not, so the adjective is not modifying the noun. So what is specified here is the group of people which are Dhritarashtra's sons and the Pandu sons. And then you have Eva here also, and to add that the second item here is the second item, the Pandavas, is certainly. So certainly the Pandavas. So how to do this then? We have different ways of doing this. One thing that is done in some translations, some commentators are translating, they do something like this. They just write my sons here, and then they write something like this, and then they add a certainly here, perhaps, or something like that. Certainly. Oops. And so this could be done, but I think it is more simple. Just we keep the Pandavas here, because that is a well-known proper noun. The Pandavas. I mean, they are the heroes. It's just so we don't have to break it up to make it more explicit. We can talk about it, and we can talk about like the sons of Pandu and like that, but we don't really have to break it up and spell it out here also in the English translation. So this, I think, is clear enough, and it's also concise enough. So short and simple. And now let's go on to clause number 6, or phrase number 6. But this is really the core action here. This is the main clause. Of course, one may you could say that the noun phrase definitely is also part of the main clause, but actually, well, you could say that, yeah, but in terms of having partitioned it in the way I've done here, we know that there's always an implicit subject anyway in any main verb. So it's always like they did here. So we have a complete sentence here in any case. Or so this up here in clause, or in phrase 5 here, we can simply see that as a not an embellishment, but just a further specification of what is already said in the verb. All right, so we have kim akurvata, and the question here in terms of translation, could kim, how should we translate kim? I mean, should we translate it as what, as I've done here, or should we just mean something else? I mean, for kim has several. There are several possibilities. In some contexts, kim just works as an ap in the beginning of a sentence, which is and that usage is like just a question marker without any other function. So is it simply a question marker, and that here stands just they did question mark? They did? No, I don't think so. I think that's a strange reading. And then also we could sometimes you see kim translated as why, or like what point is it that, like that. What point is it that? But neither why or what point seems really. So I think what here is more accurate. What did they do? So what did they do? So I think that basically sums it up. So we can repeat it once more here. Dhritarastrah said, O Sanjaya, being assembled at the field of religious duty at kuru-ksetre, desiring to fight, my sons, and certainly the pandavas, what did they do? I hope this video has been interesting to watch, and thank you very much for watching it, and Hare Krishna.